I'd like to welcome each of you to PEAT 7202, Curriculum and Instructional Models in Physical Education, Teacher Education. The purpose of this video is to give you a brief overview of the class and to introduce you to the expectations for week one. Now, if you go to the course home, there'll be an introduction from me, and there'll also be some information about me and my family. For those of you that know me well, you know that I like to interact with my students and get to know you just a little bit better. Therefore, one of your first assignments this week is to learn more about you. When you click on content, it will take you to the table of contents. In the first module, Introduction, if you click on that one, you'll find the syllabus. So please take a few moments to look over the syllabus to have an understanding of the expectations for this class. You can also look at the course description and learning goals and objectives. If you click on the week one folder, you'll notice it gives a date of when it starts. And then when you look at the content, the very first file is this particular video. So when you click on the week one link, it will take you to this video to give you an overview of the week one expectations. Each week of this class, you're going to have a things to do checklist. And this will give you an understanding of all the expectations for this particular week. So let's go through this list to have a better understanding of what your expectations are for week one. So you're going to view this presentation, and then you're going to view the PowerPoint presentation. And I do a brief PowerPoint introduction for this class. And so if you click on this link, you're just going to get the PowerPoint presentation. If you click on the second link, it's going to include my voice to provide additional narrative. Your first assignment for week one is to learn more about you. And as you can see, the due date will be located here. This year, we are going to be incorporating Flipgrid. I've used Flipgrid with previous classes. I like using Flipgrid because it's a way to do discussions using video instead of you typing in your response. When you are ready, what you're going to do is you're going to click on the Flipgrid link. It's probably going to ask you for your memphis.edu email address, because in order to get to the website, you have to have the school address, which is memphis.edu. So please be sure to do that. And then once you get into Flipgrid, let's go ahead and click on the link. Once you get into Flipgrid, you're going to come to where you're going to submit your video. This big green plus sign is what you're going to click on. You're going to be answering three questions. Where are you from, and where did you complete your bachelor's degree? What will you be doing 5 years from now? And name one interesting thing about you to share with the class. Now, one of the things about week one and about this particular one is you only have 90 seconds. So you have to be brief with your answers, because you only have 90 seconds to record. Now, some of you may think that's not a lot of time, but essentially what you have is about 30 seconds for each question. So again, try not to take too much time whenever you're answering a question, because you do only have 90 seconds. So I'm going to click on the plus sign, and then it's going to start your video camera. And as you can see, it's recording me. So all I have to do is click the red button, record my response, and up here in the corner you do have the timer, which gives you an understanding of how long your video is. So let's go back to our page. So after you do this particular assignment, okay, you'll move on to your second discussion, which is teaching models. And again, you'll notice that all the due dates are the same, September 2nd, 11:59, that is Sunday night. And what you're going to do for this particular assignment is you're going to make a list of your participation in physical activities of each stage of your life: preschool, elementary, secondary, college, and the present. And then for each stage, I want you to state what was your motivation for participating, what were your goals, and who taught you each of the activities. In other words, who was your teacher? And then for each teacher you listed, what methods did they use? Okay, so just give an explanation of how they taught. And then finally, when you teach physical education, coach, or instruct learners in physical activity of any kind, what teaching methods would you like to employ? So just give a description of how you would like to teach physical education. Then finally, I do not have a word limit for this particular discussion, but I do want you to be descriptive. Please don't be brief. but also make sure that you're using complete sentences. You're not texting me, okay? You're actually writing a response. Next, you're going to see a couple of articles that I have provided to you, and here you'll see the citation for each of these articles. Because this week, what you're going to be doing, let's go back up to the to-do list. We just went over the discussions for this week. You're going to read these two articles, and then you're going to complete writing assignment 1. Now, to help you understand your writing assignment, I have provided a rubric, which helps you to understand how I'm going to grade your writing. And I've also provided a writing example, because sometimes when you write papers, you may not know what the expectation is from the professor. So I've given you an example so that you can see what the format should be when you're writing your writing assignment 1. So let's look at the actual assignment. Let me pull that up for you so we can look at it together. This is your assignment. Notice it says the first article addresses the topic of quality physical education, while the second article addresses the implementation of model-based instruction by induction teachers. Induction meaning beginning teachers. So you'll answer the following questions in a 1 to 2 page essay. You'll use Times New Roman 12, and you're going to do it double-spaced. At the very top of your article, you'll have your name, and then below that, you'll have Article Critique 1. And I'll show you the writing example here in just a minute. After you read Article 1, okay, you're going to answer the question, what do you believe represents a quality physical education program? Knowing this, why is our number of quality physical education programs so low? So I want you to give me a reason as to why you believe QPE may be low in schools today. Now remember, you are going to be referencing your article. And so again, when you're answering these questions, you want to reference the Lee article so that you can support your argument. After reading the second article, you're going to answer these two questions. As a future teacher, state why you would be in favor to implement models-based instruction. Why would you be reluctant? And then as an induction teacher, what change agent or change agencies do you believe would most influence your decision on teaching methodology? Now again, you may look at these terms and think, what does this mean? Well, after reading the article, you should have an understanding of the terminology. Now, one of the things that you will do in your writing is you'll include at least 3 references with page number from the 2 article readings. In other words, I want to know where you gained that information. So how will you be graded? Let's look at the scoring guide. So if you want to get 100, okay, you need to meet all of these expectations. And as you'll see, the expectations are different for each grade level. Now there may be a chance for you to receive, let's say, a 95. In order to receive a 95, that means you met some of these criteria, but you also met some of these criteria. And so again, depending on where you fall on this list, will help decide what your overall grade is for your writing assignment. More than anything, make sure that when you're writing, that you check your writing, not only yourself, but have somebody else read it. And make sure that you're meeting each of these benchmarks related to your writing. So what does a typical article look like? Here's an example of an article critique. You'll notice the name will go here, Article Critique 1. Here's an opening page. As you can see, a reference is being used. We'll talk more about references as we go through the semester. Then you have a second paragraph, a third, and then finally a fourth. And then at the end, I included a reference sheet. Now, you have 2 articles that you are referencing. But if you have more references, that's completely okay. You can add references to the reference page if you choose to do so. So that gives you an expectation of writing and completing writing assignment number 1. So going back up to the checklist for this week, you have 2 discussions about you and teaching models, and then you also have writing assignment 1. Starting in week 2, we will get into the content from your book. So please be sure to have your book by the beginning of week 2. I do want to show you one other thing before we end. If you click on assessments and go to Dropbox, you will find where things will be submitted for different assignments. And then if you click under communication, you can go to discussions where you'll find another link to your discussion. I do upload all grades. So if you want to look at your grades at any point, you can click under assessments and click grades. And when we do take quizzes, which will start in week 2, you will want to click here to gain access to that quiz. So that's your introduction to week 1. Please let me know if you have any questions.